Hello my lovelies and welcome back to BrittneyOriel. Thank you for tuning in yet again to another one of my videos. So in today's video we're going to be talking about assertiveness. I'm going to explain to you all the basis of assertiveness, why we all need to be assertive, and of course I'm going to give you all some assertive techniques that you all can practice in your everyday interactions with people in different places. When we think about assertiveness, see it as a communication style. See it on a spectrum. So there are three main communication styles that you can speak from. So on this end we have aggression, on this end we have passive, and in the middle we have assertiveness. So someone can be too aggressive, they can be too passive, or if you listen and understand this video, you can conquer the perfect in between, that being assertiveness. Assertiveness is also a skill. It's a social and interpersonal skill. So interpersonal is between different people, intrapersonal is within yourself. So assertiveness being a skill means that anyone can learn it. But of course it requires practice. So just like riding a bike, learning how to drive a car, or trying to do a handstand or a cartwheel, you have to practice it to get better. Also, assertiveness is a mindset. It is how you look at yourself and how you look at others. People also think that when you are assertive, you are confrontational or you are bold and you are loud, when the truth is that is more on the aggression side of the spectrum. To the introverts out there, assertiveness is not an extrovert personality trait, and I actually recommend it towards introverts because it helps get them away from that passive norm and allows them to gain the skill of assertiveness, to not be taken advantage of and to not shy away in the background. There are also going to be some people that will see this video and think that, oh well, I am assertive so I don't need it. Or some people that might think, well, I get what it is I want, so no, I don't need to learn assertiveness. But everyone needs this skill, because being assertive is going to benefit you not just in your interpersonal social life, but it's also going to benefit you in your workplace, in your relationship, in accomplishing your objectives and your goals in life, in all different realms. Gaining the skill of assertiveness is going to make your life much better, and it's going to make you happier, and it's also going to make those around you happier. We also tend to associate assertiveness with men. So we tend to see assertiveness as a masculine trait. Why? Because our society has socialized our women to take more of a submissive role. So on the spectrum, women will be on the passive side and men will be anywhere between assertiveness and aggression. So to women out there, I encourage you all to practice this skill, because it's going to gain you a lot of respect, and it's going to raise a few eyebrows, because it's very rare do you come across an assertive female, and I'm telling you that's a very attractive trait. And without you even wanting to gain a trait just to be attractive, you're going to feel better about yourself when you assert yourself in the appropriate settings. Assertiveness is valuing yourself equally to others. So you're not valuing yourself more than another person, which will be aggressive, and you're not valuing yourself less than another person, which will be passive. It is the expression of your thoughts, your opinions, your wants and your needs without being forceful. Again, when we think about assertiveness, we tend to go towards aggression. Forcing your opinion and your thoughts and your wants and your needs onto someone is aggression. Expressing them without fear and without shyness, that is where we go towards assertiveness. It is having respect for your thoughts, your feelings, your perspectives, as well as others. Never at the cost of others or putting yourself down. To explain that a little better, you are respecting your thoughts. You have opinions, you have perspectives, and you have wants and needs, and you have to respect them. You cannot allow someone to express their thoughts and wants, or be willing to fulfill their thoughts and wants, or listen to their thoughts and wants without expressing yours, because then you end up on this end of the spectrum being passive. And you also cannot express your thoughts and respect your thoughts and your opinions and your perspectives, so much so that you put down other people's perspectives and their thoughts and their wants, because then you end up on the aggressive side of the spectrum. Assertiveness is understanding that you have rights and you need to stand up for your rights, and you are supposed to stand up for your rights. Nobody else is going to stand up for your rights. Your parents aren't going to stand up for your rights all the time. Your older siblings, your other half, your bold and aggressive friend. At some point, you are going to be one-on-one with someone, be it in the workplace, be it in a relationship, in society, or even online, and you are going to have to make a choice whether you are going to stand up for your rights or you are going to allow someone to entrench on your rights. Now we move on to, what are your rights? What are these rights that you need to recognize, first off, accept, and stand up for? What are these rights that everyone has, no matter the age, stage, developmental stage, their educational stage, whether they're married, single, divorced, whether they're a woman, whether they're a man, whether they're a child, whether they're adult? What are these rights? First off, you have the right to decide that you can live whatever life you want to live, wherever you want to live, as whoever you want to live, doing whatever you want to live, because at the end of the day, you have to answer for yourself. And someone else telling you how to live your life, they are not going to be the ones that are going to have to go to bed with you at the end of the day with your conscience, with your happiness or unhappiness. You have the right to decide to live whatever life you want to live, as whoever you want to be. You have the right to say no without an explanation. Sometimes you don't always have to explain yourself or justify why you're saying no. Sometimes you can just say no, and at any point you can say no. To anyone you can say no. Children, you can't say no to a teacher asking you to do something that you are not comfortable with. Adults, you have the right to say no to your boss if they are asking something of you that is not in your job description. Women, you have the right to say no to someone that is persistently coming behind you in a social setting. You, whoever you are, have the right to say no without explaining why. You have the right to change your mind even after you make a mistake. So let's say that you as a teenager decided to go to a camp, and the first night everybody goes up to the side and smoking, and that one night you felt a little weak and you gave in to the peer pressure. And then the next night comes about, and throughout that day you think to yourself, you know what, I think that was a mistake, I think that was a bad decision, so I don't want to do that again. You have the right to say no even after you make a mistake. You have the right to refuse something that you were once okay with. You have the right to say no even after you said yes. You also have the right to make mistakes. Unfortunately, we have a lot of parents that want to portray this perfect person, and they never made mistakes, and because of that they put their children under so much pressure to be perfect, and that is so wrong. Parents, share your good times and your bad times, your mistakes with them as well, so that they feel comfortable to come and share with you, and they see you as a human that figured it out eventually. So whoever you are, whatever age you are, you have the right to make mistakes. There is no manual for a life. They have places that can guide you. It can be laws, it can be your religious beliefs, or it can be your own moral fabric. But at the end of the day, nobody is perfect, and at no point are you going to get it right all the time. So it's okay to make mistakes, and it's more than just okay. It is your right to make mistakes. It is your right to try new things, to change yourself, to reinvent yourself. Me experiencing coming out of secondary school, and the amount of times I heard somebody say, she real change, boy. Or I've heard it said about somebody else, of course I change. I am not gonna stay the same, and I don't want to stay the same. We experience things in life, whether they're good or whether they're bad. We meet new people, we learn new things, and we ourselves grow physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. So we are going to change, and you have the right to change. You have the right to never like makeup and then all of a sudden want to wear makeup. You have the right to have pink as your favorite color and then next week have black as your favorite color. Like, you have the right to reinvent yourself and to change and to evolve. You are an evolving being. You ever see a plant stay the same? Have you ever planted a seed and the seed just stayed? Well, I'm sure it just stayed a seed if it didn't grow. But you get what I'm saying? Even nature changes. There are different seasons. As a plant grows, it sheds its leaves, it gets new leaves, it has different flowers, different colors, different sizes. It continuously grows, and you are nature. So allow yourself to grow, to reinvent yourself, and forget about these stagnant morons that want you to stay the same. Why? Because they remain the same and they don't understand why you are growing and changing. You have the right to express yourself honestly. You don't need to filter anything if you don't want to. You don't need to lie to say something softly for somebody's feelings if you don't want to. Now, again, we're not leaning towards aggression. Passive, assertive, aggressive on a spectrum. Aggression will be, I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel about you and I don't care. No. But if it's about a particular topic, if you're talking about politics, or you're talking about crime, or you're talking about a show, express yourself honestly. Why? Because you have the right to. You have the right to have different perspectives, different feelings, different thoughts about the same thing. You have the right to see things differently. Just because A, B, and C doesn't like someone doesn't mean that you can't like them. And if any of your friends try to alienate you or try to make you feel bad for seeing something differently than them, that's not friends, my dear. Move on. Be your own friend until you get better friends. You have the right to take your time to respond and to decide. Just because someone asks you a question doesn't mean you have to answer right away. Just because they ask what you want to do and to make a decision doesn't mean you have to answer them right away. And don't let them pressure you into thinking that you have to answer them right away. You can take your time to mull over in your mind, to weigh pros and cons. What's the best case of this scenario? What's the worst case? Am I okay with facing both of them? Because anyone can happen. How do I feel about that question? Do I want to do that? Should I do it? Am I up for it? And all of this takes time. So give yourself the time. And if they are impatient and saying, no, well, I need an answer now, you just stick to yourself and say, well, I can't give you an answer now. I have to think about it. If you do need an answer, then I'm sorry, but I just can't give you that. You have the right to disagree. You don't have to agree with everything. And again, just like saying no, you don't have to explain why. If you want to, that's your choice. If not, you disagree. Assertiveness is, I feel like this, or I see things a particular way. That doesn't necessarily mean I see it the right way, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they see it the wrong way. We just have different perspectives, and that's okay. You respect their opinions and their perspectives, and I hope that they respect yours. You don't force your opinion onto them, and don't let them force their opinion onto you. That is assertiveness. Aggression is forcing your opinion on them and trying to make them see things your way or understand the way you see it is the right way. No, that's not. The same rights that you have and that we're all talking about, everybody else have those rights whether they know it or not. You have the right to tell someone how you want to be treated. And my ladies out there, and even my men out there, Tell them how you want to be treated. Lay out your standards so that they know if they drop. And I'm not saying that people don't have a bad day, but you can't have a bad week and a bad month and a bad year, right? So you list out how you want to be treated, what you want to deal with and what you don't want to deal with. Why? Because you have the right to tell someone how you want to be treated. You have the right to set your boundaries and your preferences and your standards. You have the right to tell people what they can and can't do where it pertains to you. You have the right to set boundaries, and no matter who it is, it could be someone that you really love, it could be a family member, it could be a longtime friend, it doesn't matter. You cannot compromise your boundaries and your standards for somebody else, because you know what? You start moving towards the passive realm. The passive realm is, I care more about others than I care about myself. I will compromise myself, my happiness, my rights to make someone else happy because I want them to be happy. You have the right to ask for information, to ask for an explanation, to get your questions answered. And I'm speaking directly towards parents and children in particular, because as parents and even educators, we in our mind decide that our children are too young to know about X, Y, and Z. Please understand that if you don't answer their questions, they are going to find an answer somewhere. So either they're going to ask their friends, or they're going to type it into Google. And whatever those questions are, I just want your mind to create what you think Google is going to present them with. So at all ages, you have a right to ask questions and to get information and to get an explanation. You also have a right to not give your 100%. You just do. Just because you have so much potential doesn't mean that you have to use it all the time. If you know that you can't do a task and you wake up that morning feeling like today should be a rest day, or you know what, there's that task but I really prioritize this task, and then somebody comes to you and says no, do it and give your 100%. If you don't feel like giving your 100%, don't. Why? Because you have your right to choose how much you want to give to what you want to give, because it's just your choice, it's just your right. And lastly, you have the right to love yourself and to accept yourself. And unfortunately, that means that you also have the right to despise yourself. I do encourage you to choose the realm of accepting yourself and loving yourself, and sometimes it may feel unnatural, but with practice you actually start to convince yourself that it's true, and next thing you know, you actually do love yourself. So you have the right to love yourself just as who you are at this very moment. Not when you accomplish this, or when you look like this, or when you learn this, or when you do this. You have the right to love yourself and accept yourself as who you are today. Everything that happened to you, whether you had control over it or not, whether it was your choice or it was done to you, accept yourself and love yourself. Why? Because you have the right to love yourself no matter how imperfect or how perfect you are. So now that we understand what our rights are, and of course we understand what is assertiveness, I'm going to teach you some assertiveness techniques. Now there's a long list of assertiveness techniques, so I just pulled out major ones that I think are very useful. Feel free to comment below and ask some more. I will gladly share that information with you all for those that want to know more. So first off, we begin with fogging. Fogging is best used when you are being attacked in some way. So it is highlighting the truth of a statement, but also complementing that with an explanation and a reinforcement of your own points, because they're just as valuable. So to make that into some sense, let's say you reach to work and your boss comes to you and says, "You are always late. Why?" Or, "Why are you always late? It's for the past week you're late every single day." Instead of just shying away, too passive, or getting upset, too aggressive, The assertive technique you can use here is fogging. Agree with the truth of the statement. If you know that what they're saying is true, agree with it and recognize it. Yes, it's true that I have been late every single day. Number one, before you even continue, they are going to be shocked. Oh, they agree with me, and that's going to take them back. That is where the fogging begins. They are attacking you, so they're expecting you to either try to defend yourself or to shy away and just take their abuse. But instead, you acknowledge that what they're saying is true. However, so back to the response. Yes, it is true that I have been late every day for the past week. However, there has been construction going on near my hometown, and that has caused a lot of traffic that is out of my control. So, whatever the situation is, acknowledge that they're not going crazy, that they are making a valid point, but give your explanation. Why? Because what they have to say is just as important as what you have to say. Next, we have stock record. So, it's kind of self-explanatory. So a stock record goes over again and again and again and again. So the explanation for this technique is repeating what you have to say over and over and over again. However, remaining calm the entire time, not raising your voice and not getting upset. That is the trick in the matter, and that is when you begin to be assertive and not aggressive. So, a scenario that I can paint for this type of technique: you go to a store and you go to return something that was broken when you opened it. And they look at you and they say, oh no, well, you must have broke this. There's no way this could have been broken. We would not have sold you this if it was broken. It was broken. I did nothing to it. As I opened it, it was broken. No, that could have never happened. We don't sell broken things. Ma'am, when I reached home, I opened it and it was broken. I need to return it. Well, you cannot return it because you break it somehow. Ma'am, when I reached home and I opened it, you get the point, right? I don't think I need to continue. Whatever the case is, you keep repeating yourself. Or let's put another scenario. Someone is pressuring you to take a drink. No, I don't want to drink tonight. It's okay. What happened to you? Just take a drink now. I'm okay. I don't want to drink tonight. Thank you. Oh gosh, relax now. We're all doing it. You have to drink plenty. Just take a drink with me now. I don't want to drink tonight. No, thank you. And you just keep repeating and repeating and repeating. Don't get upset. Don't change your tone. Don't get frustrated. Don't shout at them. Just keep repeating it until they get the point, or until they realize that you are just a stock record and it doesn't even make sense trying to talk to you again. It might even get them frustrated, but point is, they are going to disengage and comply to what you are saying. Give more choices. It reduces the defensive responses. So instead of just rejecting someone's suggestion, so let's say they go, I want to go out, let's go 51, which is a club in Trinidad. And you don't like 51 and you prefer to go somewhere else. And again, still respecting their own opinion because they just want to go out and party. Instead of just saying, nah, I don't want to go 51. To get a better response and a less defensive reaction, I don't really want to go 51, but we can either go Residence or we can go Siam. That gives them options instead of just rejecting them full stop. Or let's say that you have a friend over and the friend wants to go and play in your room and you don't want them to play in your room. Let's not go in my room. We could go in the backyard or we could go in the living room. You will get a much better response if you give them more options. It decreases the amount of defensive reactions that you'll get. Avoid never and always statements. And this is something that we do when we're upset. You always do that. You never do that. Because most of the time, it's not true. And even when it is, saying something like that is not going to get a reaction. It's not going to get the reaction at least that you're looking for. So avoid always and never statements and be aware of them. And when you do say them, stop yourself. Okay, you know what, I didn't mean that. But most of the time, or more frequently, or as of recent, you have not been doing this, or you have been doing this. But don't just slap a label on them and make them feel like they always do this or they never do this, because all they're going to do is try to reject what you're saying because it's not true in their mind. So they're going to do, no, that's not true, I did it this time, or that's not true, I didn't do it this time. So don't use those statements, because it's going to just put a blur over the point that you are trying to make. Stop over apologizing. This is for my passive, introverted people. Stop over apologizing. Okay, well, no, sorry about that. All right, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll handle it. Sorry. All right, no, that's okay. You hit me, but sorry. Stop over apologizing. This is a habit that you build. So to break a habit, you have to be just as conscious with it. Every time you do it, make a mental note and don't do it again. Every time you feel you're about to do it, or create some awareness when you hear yourself do it, or better yet, get a friend or someone that is around you more often to make you more aware of it, so that they can be, you know, you were just apologizing and they didn't need to. And that is going to help you decrease that. Because when you over apologize, one, you take that blame, and most times that disrespect to yourself, because you just can't be apologizing for everything. Like, everything is not your fault, and not everything requires an apology. And lastly, this technique is going to deal with compliments and criticisms. So passive people reject compliments, and passive people take on criticism very deeply, whereas aggressive people love compliments and they cannot stand criticism. Now, yes, there is criticism where there is no constructive aspect to it. Someone just wants to put you down, so be aware of that. But find out more about what these compliments mean, or what this criticism mean. So acknowledge it, thank them for it. So you get a compliment, thanks, but what do you mean I look okay? Or thank you, but what do you mean my hair looks okay? Or thank you, but you really think that my face is a nice shape? Like, I don't know what compliments you'll get, but you know what I mean. Like, acknowledge it. But if you really don't believe what they're saying, be it a criticism or a compliment, find out some more, so that one, they themselves search a little deeper. So they go, oh, well, no, I just really like, you know, the way that your jaw is, or I really like your plait. You will be surprised to see that people like stuff that you don't even like. There was a time that I was in a group of girls, and one of the girls said that they really liked the other girl's fingers, and that was that girl's biggest insecurity. So instead of rejecting it, she said, my fingers? What do you like about my fingers? And then they could have explained it, no, well, you're just so small and cute and short. And you know, like that, there's a better response to compliments than just rejecting compliments. Don't do that. Accept when somebody takes the time to uplift you. And of course, accept when people take the time to constructively criticize you. Not everybody is attacking you, and not everybody is against you, and I can't do anything right, and I always do something wrong. No, if you listen to criticism, it's going to help you. Either you hear something that you know isn't true, and if you do hear something that you know isn't true, even more reason to use this technique. Okay, but what do you mean by that? What do you mean by I did that horribly, or I failed at that? Or what do you mean by that was the worst project done? Whatever the case is, ask them more, so that you, first of all, put the spotlight on them, so that you recognize whether they're just being a mean person, or if they're really coming from a good place. Because sometimes I myself have been in the face of constructive criticism, and instead of responding aggressively or crawling into a ball passively, I asked more, and I actually got very good advice and was able to better my technique of delivery for that particular situation. So when you get a compliment or you get a criticism, accept what they're saying, acknowledge it, thank you for what it is you said, but tell me more, or explain that to me. So to round up those techniques, fogging, stock record. Take your time to respond. Give more options so you get less defensive responses. Avoid always and never statements. Stop over apologizing and respond to positive and negative inquiries about you better. Accept compliments and ask them why, and accept criticism and ask them why. So thank you for tuning in yet again to another one of my videos. I hope to see you all here soon. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Comment below what your rights are, what assertiveness techniques you like, what you think about assertiveness on the whole, any random thoughts you have, any situations that you thought you should have been assertive that you won't. And yes, share this video with someone that you think it's going to benefit, someone that you think is too aggressive and that's hampering their social life, or someone that you think is too passive and is hampering again their social life but also their interpersonal life, their relationship with their self. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe so that you can see more of my videos, and I will see you all soon. Spread some light and some love, and yeah, just good vibes, all good vibes to you. Bye guys. Boom, boom. This love is amazing. No. Zoom out. Because being assertiveness, introverts, extroverts. Sound like a commercial. Shit. Get you a screen protector. Tempered glass. You. What's that? You like my lipstick? Can I get a kiss on my lipstick? Thanks. How does the lion go? How does... Smile for the picture.